Hi everyone. Welcome to the end of week 2 of English 2332. I'm going to turn the sound up just a little bit. And I hope your semester's off to a good start. So far we haven't really done much other than discussion questions, but I got a phone call today from a student named Edward who said he didn't think the link was taking him to the right place on Gilgamesh, the first reading assignment. Checked it out and he was exactly right. So I have redone the reading list and established a correct link to a different version. Then in the class announcement, I also posted another one to Hillsdale College PDF, which is a little bit of a summary, but it's more modern and easier to read. You know from your notes from the videos that Gilgamesh has a dozen different translations, and none of them are complete. Every version we have of Gilgamesh is fragmentary. It's important to keep that in mind. And that's one reason why you get so many different translations. And if you're reading one and it's got a lot of words in brackets, those are words that the editor has assumed or figured out are the best words to fill that space because some words were broken, some words were missing, and so he fills them in using his best judgment. You got to remember that this poem was written on clay tablets, 3700 BC, almost 6,000 years ago, using metal punches, and so the tablets, of course, are very fragile and easily broken. And another reason for, apparently, for the numerous different translations is the fact that this poem, Gilgamesh, was used to teach young schoolboys how to write. And of course, young schoolboys don't always get it exactly right. And so there are numerous what we would call grammar and spelling errors, as well as content errors. So it's hard to know which one is the best translation, and so it's really more of a consensus translation than anything else. But anyway, read it, and I'm sure you'll enjoy it. I've also posted the assignment sheet for the first response paper. I'm sorry, it's not a research paper, it's a response paper. And I want to read to you the assignment. This is a quote from Sonoma University. It says, "A response paper is your chance to communicate in writing your personal viewpoint and personal learning as they relate specifically back to the book, essay, paper, article, etc. in question and the ideas and values contained therein. A response paper is intended to be a transformative experience." A transformative experience. And what that means is, as you write the paper, you're supposed to learn, you're supposed to change, you're supposed to grow from the writing. As you think about how you feel about this particular topic, the ideas will come and you may change your mind, and that's okay. It's designed to transform the writer, not the reader. It's designed to transform the writer during the process of writing the response paper. So, what you're going to do is you're going to pick one of these 4 topics, either the monster Humbaba, and I apologize, I'm reading a new translation, brand new, and it says that we've gotten the pronunciations incorrectly. It says all those middle vowels, which are generally soft vowels, should be long vowels, and so he's pronounced it Humbaba and Enkidu, and I guess it would be Shamat. But anyway, I'm going to pronounce it the way I learned it. You get to choose between Humbaba, Ishtar, Enkidu, and Shamhat. Now, don't try to write your paper talking about everything about any one of these 4 characters. There's just too much. So focus on one particular aspect of one of those 4 characters and just tell how it makes you feel. For example, well, I hate to do the work for you, but let's say, for example, this is not on the assignment, so you can't use it. But let's say one of the assignment was Gilgamesh. You would want to look at everything Gilgamesh did, and so one of the things he did was he killed the bull of heaven, and that caused a lot of problems. As I was reading it, even the first time, I was wondering, does he have to kill this beast? Is there not some way to corral it or to tame it, put it to good use, or drive it off? What is the necessity of killing? I realized they lived in a barbaric culture where killing was the norm and cruelty was very common. But my response would be, he really didn't have to kill the bull of heaven. And if he had not, he would not have had what happened because of it, the consequences. Now, of course, I know this is a work of fiction, and really it's fiction piled on fiction. It's creative stuff piled on more creative stuff. But, and so it's there to advance the plot of the story. Okay, I understand that. But had this been real life, and had there been a King Gilgamesh, he really would not have had to kill that bull of heaven. He could have corralled it or driven it off or talked to Ishtar and achieved his outcome some other way. So that would be my reaction, and I would take a couple of pages to kind of explain what happened in the story, and then explain how I feel about what happened in the story, and that's all I'm expecting. It's just your personal response to something that happened in the poem regarding one of those four characters. It says here that you can use a quote, and you're certainly welcome to, but it's not a research paper. So research is something you learn in English 1302. But if you're going to use research, if you're going to quote the poem or quote something someone said about the poem, you have to quote it verbatim, put it in quotation marks, you have to cite it, and then include a works cited page. In other words, you have to, if you're going to do research, you have to do it correctly. And so you don't have to. That's what I'm saying. If you want to make it a little bit easier on yourself, just give me your gut reaction, and that's all. The final drafts are due no later than Sunday, February the 8th, 11:55 p.m. Review the policy for lay work. It's not accepted. Review the policy for the use of AI. It's really not accepted. Remember when you're writing your paper that the name of the character, the name of the guy, the demigod, is Gilgamesh with a capital G and no italics. The name of the poem is Gilgamesh, capital G and italicized. Although to be formal, it's the Epic of Gilgamesh. And that also is italicized. In MLA, we're going to italicize the names of books, movies, long poems, so that way we can tell the name of the work from the name of the character. That's one way. Okay, so I encourage you to read the poem carefully, focus on the character that you think is interesting, start jotting down some ideas about your reaction to one particular aspect or one particular action of that character, and let me know if you have questions. For next week, even though you're still working on the research paper, we're going to go ahead with our readings, and we're going to read a little bit from the Hebrew Bible. Now, the Hebrew Bible is just the name for the Old Testament, and we study it not as a work of sacred literature, but just as a work of common literature. It's not, we don't look at it as sacred writing, although many people consider it that. And it's not my intention to offend anyone, but we study these different parts of because the Old Testament has had such a powerful influence on all other writings. The Bible is the most influential written work ever produced by humanity, or written down on paper. So since it's such a powerful influence, and you can still see it even in modern literature today, but since it is such a powerful work, such a powerful foundation for all other literature, we're going to take a quick look at it. We're just doing Genesis 1 through 4, chapters 1 through 4. That's about 3.5 pages. We're doing the book of Job, which is a fairly short book. And then Psalms 8, 19, 23, 104, and 107. I will post up a PowerPoint explaining a little bit more about this, but the Psalms are classified into different categories according to their structure and their content. And you'll see why we chose those 5 in particular to discuss about them. But then after that, for week 4, yay, we get into the Odyssey. And I think you'll enjoy that a lot. Okay. Look over the syllabus. Look over the reading assignment, get started on your paper, and when you have questions, Feel free to drop me an email, jfly@southplainscollege.edu. Remember, we're not using Blackboard Messenger this semester, but drop me an email. Be sure to put your class, English 2332, section 151, in the subject line, and I will get back to you as quickly as I can. Thanks.